There we go. Hi guys, it's Mia. How you guys doing? Oh god, I'm falling all over the place. How you guys doing? Today, as you've obviously figured out from the title, do you know what? Is this a little bit too central? Is that central? That will do. I'm okay with that. There we go. So as the title suggests, today I'm going to be talking about my coming out sort of situations, stories, whatever you want to call them. And I did it twice. I've come out twice to my family. Family sort of coming out is what we're going to be talking about today, because let's be honest, as LGBTQ plus people, we come out on a daily basis. You know, to the bus driver, you know, to the woman in the toilet who's wondering why you're in there because you have a beard. All sorts, you know. So, today in particular, I'm going to be talking about my experience coming out to my fairly strict Indian sort of Punjabi family of a Sikh background. And I'm making this video. I never thought I'd actually make this sort of video because I value privacy and I value my family's privacy quite a lot. You know, albeit we don't talk anymore, they are still my family, and I have to sort of appreciate and respect that. But I won't go too much in depth as to sort of scenarios and what happened and sort of the negatives, because, you know, I don't want to. So I'll give you the general gist of it, of what you need to know, essentially. So I came out, I was outed at the age of 17 by my older brother. I have two siblings, and they're, siblings I think classify as younger, but I have two older brothers. The eldest of which outed me when I was 17, and yeah, he sort of, in an argument, in a quite a heated argument between himself, me and my mother, he outed me. At which point, normally I would deny, like, I'm not gay, shut up, what are you talking about? Throw his handbag at him. But in this instance, you know, I evidently was filled with a lot of rage, and I was like, yeah, I am gay, and what? And there was like a deadly silence in the room, and it was a very small room, and I was like, I can't breathe, I need some air. At which point I put my shoes on, without any socks on, mind you, which was very gross for me, and I ran. I literally ran from the house, which was my parents' house, where we were staying at the time, and I ran to my best friend's house. My best friend Shavilla and we've known each other since, I think it's 17, almost 18 years now. We've known each other for a very long time, and yeah, I ran to her house. I was calling her, she wasn't answering, I was slamming on her door, and I was like, let me in. And mind you, it's like 3 a.m, so she comes to the door, freaked out and stuff, and her mother is like a mother figure to me. I adore her, you know, she's one of the few people I genuinely really trust in the world. So yeah, they were all like, what the fuck's going on? And I'm like, you know, my older brother outed me, etc. And yeah, I was like a mess, crying and stuff. And yeah, it was really difficult. My mum, so my brother, my middle brother, contacted me while I was at at Shavilla's house, sort of like being a mess, crying. And he contacted me saying, where are you? And I was like, no, I'm not going to tell you that you're at Shavilla's house, aren't you? And he knows where she lives, so, you know, she's lived in the same house for a very long time. So, you know, he just literally came to get me. And I was crying, and I told him what had happened, and he was trying to like mediate and just sort of solve the situation. And yeah, it was really bizarre, because it was like, you know, my older brother was to fault. He created this massive argument for no reason. He was saying things, doing things, and, you know, my mother should have been angry at him, you know, but in actual, but what actually happened was, you know, he ran out looking for me, allegedly had a asthma attack or something, couldn't breathe, and an ambulance was called, and it was really tough for me to see all this happen, because the person who has just outed me, and essentially in my eyes ruined my life, is there, you know, centre of attention, being treated by medics, and he is telling them a skewed story of what happened. Like, oh, I ran out after my younger brother because I was scared as to what he would do, you know, not giving them any context, making me out to be a bad person, whereas I'm in the kitchen hunting for a knife to slit my wrists, do you know what I mean? And it was it was a really difficult time, and you know, I couldn't find anything because we were in the process of moving, so we were in like sort of a weird stage of like not unpacked anything. So I was like a mess, and then I ended up using whatever I could find to self-harm, and from that I've got horrible scars on my arm because of this, you know, and it was awful. It was absolutely horrible, and I was sort of there like with growing resentment towards this person because he's being treated for something, yet I'm the one who's now damaged and fucked over completely. You know, I'm standing there bleeding out, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I slit my wrist to the point where like, the scars are quite deep and I have to wrap them myself, you know. I've self-harmed for years, so I've grown sort of quite good at sort of sterilising the wound, wrapping the wound, and making sure I don't get sort of like sepsis or something. So the joys of having friends, sort of training to be doctors and stuff, you figure out how to do things yourself. But yeah, and it was really difficult. It was a really difficult time, and my mum sort of called me in the next day and was like, "Why did you say it's not true?" I was like, "It is true, Mum, I am gay." Because, you know, at that time, it's what everyone kept saying I was, as a feminine male. That's what everyone sort of labelled me as. And I wasn't ready to come out as trans. I wasn't, like, I was gladly, you know, going to live this life as a homosexual male rather than a trans woman, because I physically couldn't do that. And yeah, it was sort of like, she basically said, "You can't be. Like, you physically can't be." It was basically sort of I tried to explain it's you're born this way, etc. The science behind it. I even made up. Half the shit I said I probably made up. I can't even remember what I said to her, you know. But she was like, "No, I understand that, you know, people can't change who they are. This is how someone is, but not my son." And it was really difficult to hear these things because what was I meant to do in this situation? And I was sort of like, well, this is this. And we didn't talk properly for about a month, maybe more. It was really difficult, you know, to live in the same house as someone and not talk to them, especially when they're your mother. It's really difficult, you know. And it was sort of like it was really annoying because it wasn't on my terms, you know. I didn't do anything when I was ready. And what really got to me was the simple fact that literally, I think 2 weeks prior, less than a month, 2 to 3 weeks prior to this happening, I was sort of going through, I was in therapy, and my therapist was basically saying, you know, "You have gender dysphoria, that's what it's called, you know. Have you ever heard of the word transgender, etc." And I was opened up to this whole kind of worms that I might be something other than what I am, and how I feel has a name, and I can do something about it, but I didn't know if I wanted to. And it was sort of like this internal turmoil of like, you know, if she acts like this to someone being gay, how is she going to react to me being trans? And it was really difficult for me. And I've not really openly talked about this with my family because, you know, how fully can you trust someone, A, who outed you, and, you know, my middle brother he accepts as much as he can. He tries really hard, and, you know, I can't fault him on that. But he still, like, you know, is my parents' child, and in the Asian community, you don't go against what your parents want. So it was sort of like me or my parents, which is essentially what I assume has happened now, since coming, like, you know, getting surgery. But yeah, that was how you know, this sort of unfolded, and it was, yeah, I was quite lucky. I had my aunt, my dad's sort of sister. I sort of opened up to her as to what had happened. And I was quite lucky that I had her as sort of like a crutch in that sense. Like, you know, she was a family member who got it, she was accepting, and every family event that I went to, like, I sort of came out to more people, and it wasn't hard, like, you know, people just guessed it already, and people were generally very accepting, you know. Most of my family members are like I'm one of the youngest in my family in regards to, like, my bro and my dad's siblings' children. I think I'm the second youngest. So sort of everyone's quite a lot older, 40s to 30s sort of age range. Well, no, probably I don't know, late 40s now. I have no idea how old my cousins are. So a lot of my cousins are quite accepting. But, you know, a lot of that changed. You know, when I came out as trans, I was sort of, I was almost isolated from everything. But I'm jumping ahead. So yes, I came out as trans. I came out as gay in 17. I was outed as gay at 17, and then at the age of 20, I came out as trans. And this video is already 10 minutes long, so I will cut here. And then I'll make a part 2, and then we'll, like, you know, you'll get more of an understanding. But I'm trying to not get emotional. I'm trying to be a bit more emotionally cold, because, you know, it's really difficult to open up about these things. But yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye.